It's a very basic form. So let's define what the AI agent means. An artificial intelligence agent refers to a system or a program that is capable of autonomously performing tasks. Now, please pay attention to the green mark text. Is a system, is nothing but a system or a program that is capable of autonomously, that is by itself. It can perform some task on behalf, but it performs the task on behalf of the users like me, like you, or it could be another system which is giving instructions to this AI agent application to do something. So, AI agent is a program or a system that is capable of autonomously performing tasks on behalf of the user or another system by designing its workflow and utilizing available tools. Now, what are these available tools and workflow? So, we'll look into that. But the gist is that it's a system which is capable of doing certain tasks for me or for any other user based on its design, right? So that's what the AI agent in a simple form means. Now let's look into what the AI agent application looks like, what it can do, what all orchestrations it has to do, what all processing it has to do. So let's see. Now assume this is an AI agent application, what you see over here, and this is something capable of doing the task autonomously based on what instructions I give or based on any third party application instructions. So based on that, this application will do certain things. Okay, so to do certain things, first thing it needs is a data, that is based on the data only it can act or it can do something. So first thing, in the very first step, it has to retrieve the data. Now from where it can retrieve the data? It can retrieve the data from some persistent storage, and the persistent storage most common, as you would be knowing, is the relational database like MySQL, PostgreSQL, or it could be a vector DB, it could be a graph DB. Now in this tutorial we'll cover the relational DB only. The other two will cover in the subsequent sessions or another tutorial. So AI application, first it will need the data, that it retrieves the data from relational database or any of these three. Now once it has retrieved the data, what will it do? It has to generate something based on the input user is giving or the instructions the user is giving. It has to generate something. Now moment we say it has to generate something, what comes to our mind is large language models like OpenAI, DeepSeek, CloudAI and all. So it has to make use of the LLMs to generate something or to augment the data that it retrieves from one of these data sources. And to use the LLMs, we know we have to provide system prompts or the user prompts along with the data it has retrieved from the relational database or vector DB or graph DB. So we create a prompt which has got system prompt and the user prompt, and that is fed to the Open AI, DeepSeek, or any other large language models, and we get the augmented data. And that is what the outcome of the simple AI agent will look like. Or it can even trigger any another function as well. That is AI agent, once it gets the data, feeds it to the LLM, gets the output of LLM, it can send it as a mail or it can send call any other function to do further operations, right? So this is what the AI agent application in general, in its very basic form, looks like. Now, before going into details of this part, that is AI agent application, we should understand what is the entity extraction in the NLP, that is natural language processing. Now, let's see entity extraction with natural language processing, that is NLP. Now, let in a very simple form, how do we define entity extraction? A way to categorize the words in a sentence. This is a very simple definition for a layman. That is, there is a sentence and you want to categorize some of the words in that sentence. For example, now I want to categorize the words into name, date of the year, designation, or maybe balance type. This is custom category I can say here. So these are the types into which I want to segregate the data. That is, I want to know the words which are belonging to one of these categories. So let's say there is a sentence: John, who was born in the year 1927, was an American computer scientist. So the scientist is missing here, but that's what it means. Now here in this sentence, John, as you know, is a name. So my NLP system should be able to tell me that John here is a entity called name. 1927 is the entity called year in this sentence. Likewise, in the next sentence, tell me how many days of leaves is left for Bob in 2025. Again, in this, if you see, the leaves is another entity of type balance type. That is, here we are referring to the number of days balance, right? So it's how many days of leaves. The leaves qualifies as balance type category, and 2025 again qualifies as year in this case. So if you feed this or this sentence into any NLP system, then it can give me that John is a name and 1927 in this case is a year, and the leaves here is balance type, and in this 2025 again is a year. So that is what the entity extraction systems will do using the natural language processing. Now we are going to make use of this in our system, and some of the libraries, there are libraries available which can do this job for us. So what we are using over here is Spacey. That is the first one in the slide. What you see, that is what we are using. Is Python library. Again, Spacey is very commonly used, very popular among Python developers. The NLTK is another Python library which is NLP toolkit, another library which can be used to extract the entity. Then there is a stanza from Stanford NLP. Now these are the libraries. If I feed those above two sentences into these libraries, it can tell me which is the name, which is the year, which is designation, and balance type. So I get all those things out of this. Now how we are going to use this, let's get into more details in subsequent slides. Now how the AI agent application works. Now I will go back to the previous slide to give you some context again. Now we are going to look into this part, the AI agent application here, what it is going to do, how it is, doing the processing. That is how it processes the user input. Now we are going to see the sequence of those things. Okay. So here AI agent application explains. So let's see the user input query. In the first step, that AI agent application gets this input, that is user input query. Now, as I said, if I give the input like, how many leaves does the John have in the year 2025? If that was the query, then I need to extract what is the balance type. Here the balance type is leaves, and again the year is 2025. So who will do this for me? So natural language processing engine using this library like Spacey, NLTK will do this for me. So second step is to extract those entities. Now using those entities, I can really form an SQL, right? So simple SQL can be formed using those entities, and I form the SQL query, and then information is retrieved from the relational database here. Now once you get the output from the relational database, you feed it into the LLM such as OpenAI and get the augmented output. These are a very simple step in any AI agent, a simple AI agent. Now this is also called RAG, right? Retrieval Augmentation Generation. So this is a RAG application also in a very simple form. Now we will see more details. Now let's see the use case of the travel planner AI agent. Now first, before going into detail what this is going to do, now here I'm going to ask the AI agent system how many days of leave do I have in the year 2025, and please plan a itinerary for me. That is what typically this travel planner agent will do. So I'm going to ask rather, how many days of leaves do I have in the year, and then plan my itinerary for whatever number of days are left. That is what the use case is. Now here, first one is user input query. User again provides the query. Then the agent also has to collect some more information if needed, like it also has to collect the information in, for this use case it has to collect the destination information. Then again it has to feed into natural language processing engine, extract entities, then form the query, and get the data from the database, like how many days of leaves are left in this case. And based on how many number of days are left, let's say my SQL query in step 4 returns 20 days. Now I will feed that 20 days to LLM, and when I'm feeding the data to LLM, I will say that you are an expert in making tour itinerary in United States of America. Based on the number of days I give, please plan my itinerary for the destinations that I would give. And that is how this will give me augmented output, and it will give me complete itinerary. Yeah, okay, so this is what it is going to do. That is this travel planner. Now here I have a program which is called AI agent that I'll show at the later stage of this tutorial. And what I've done is I've mapped the some of the lines in the code. The code, entire code is in file called AI agent.py. That is it's a Python based code. Now in that you can look for what I'm providing over here, like input, enter your leave query, right? So this is the first step. If you remember from the previous slide, this is the first step in the AI agent processing, and it is collecting the information from the user. Now you can search for enter your leave query in AI agent.py to get more detailed information about this entire flow. Then it collects the travel destination information. You can look for get travel preference function in the AI agent.py. Then natural language processing, it has to extract entities, so you can look for extract entities function in the AI agent.py. It is using Spacey library to get the entities. You can look into that code, AI agent.py. Then then using those number of days, we are firing a query to SQL database, MySQL database, and you can look into get leave balance function in agent.py and get more information about this function. Now after that we are going to generate the response. In the generate response function we feed to LLM, and in the generate response you can also see the system prompt and the user prompts that we are providing, and that's what we get. Travel itinerary out of this, get augmented output text. So here what we have done is we have tried to map our code with the process or with the flow that was explained in the previous slides. This should give you an idea about how we are translating our requirement into an application. So this is what it is. Now you have a sample code at the Git repo located at this point, and you can also run the application with the set of instructions that I have given here. But first thing is that after cloning the repo, you have to do the SQL database setup. So in the database, use mysql.sql to create table and insert data for testing. In the code, I have given some sample insert statements also. You can refer to mysql.sql file to get the uh, create instructions, that is create table DDL, and also uh, insert to put some data into your table. Note the configuration, that is database configuration, and update db config parameter in AI agent.py. Make sure configurations are correct. In my sample I use database instance from ivan.io. It offers free MySQL instance for testing and experiment. You can also go and register on the event.io. Now another thing, we are using the LLM here. We are using OpenAI, so you have to create the keys in the OpenAI and use in the uh, AI agent.py. So in the same sample application, we are using OpenAI LLM. So you have to go to this platform.openai.com, and then you have to click on the settings on the top left corner uh, of the page. From the left bar, select API keys, generate the keys, and copy the keys to OpenAI.key parameter in agent.py. So this is what you have to do. Now next we'll run the application and see how it is working. Okay, let's go over. Okay, now here I am, and I have everything available over uh, my machine. That is, setup is ready with me, and I'm going to get into the virtual environment that I created. So if you see there is a command called source, then NLP env, that is a virtual environment that I have created, and I'm going to activate this. So this is activated. Now I'm into the virtual environment. Now let's execute the program that we have, that is Python 3, and then I have the program, as I said, called AI agent.py. Now moment I execute, first thing is it's going to collect the user information. Now it's going to collect the user information. So I have given some sample prompts that you can also use to test the application, or you can modify these sentences as well as per your need. So I'm going to provide this here. Now I provided the information. Now it is also going to ask for some extra information. So like, would you like to get some travel suggestions? If I say yes, then it's going to ask me a few more questions. Do you want to go to the beach destination? Yes. Then you want to go to the national park? Yes. And to others I would say no, as I may not be having enough leaves. So let's say no. Now internally it is going to connect to my database, get the number of days. That is, it is also showing, if you see, vacation days that is available to me is 20 days, and destination I preferred were beaches, national parks. And based on that, it is suggesting me some travels, like travel suggestions, and it is also suggesting me day by day. That is from first day to fifth day, Miami, Florida, 6th day to 11th day, Yellowstone National Park, then again from 12th to 15th, Cadia National Park, and then 16 to 20, San Diego, California. So it has suggested me itinerary for 20 days, and that is 20 days were available to me in my database. So it has retrieved the number of leaves left and created itinerary from me using the LLM. This entire process is also known as RAG, and that is what we have seen in the tutorial. So this covers the entire thing, and I've also given the steps to uh, run the application, and this is where it is. You can use this to run the setup on your local machine. Now what next? So next what we are going to see is, not in this tutorial but in another tutorial, we are going to see how we are going to generate the simple agent AI with LLMs in an hour's time. So the code that you see is something which I have generated using the LLMs, and it didn't take more than an hour's time, including the debugging and testing, and that is what we are going to see in the next tutorial. Till then, I would say thank you for watching this. Keep watching and wait for my next video. Thank you.